Good morning, folks. Give me a second while I welcome our Spanish-speaking neighbors. Buenos días, mi gente. Si quieren acceso al programa en español, por favor, marquen el número que aparece en la pantalla, que es 646-749-3122. Cuando le contestan su llamada, por favor, comparten el código, que es 779-328-221. Esa información se va a compartir en los comentarios también. Folks, I'm so glad to be with you this morning. Our whole team is for our vote-a-thon for this spring election. My name is Tammy Rivera. I am the executive director and lead organizer for SOC. And you know what I'm noticing? I left my lipstick at home, so I'm looking a little plain today than you usually are used to seeing me here on the forums. I usually never wear lipstick and makeup. I just put it on so it doesn't look so plain for y'all. Anyway, we have an incredible day set up for you all, and I hope my team is going to find it equally as incredible as we're trying to help us really enjoy a full day of back-to-back work. So we started the day off at 8 o'clock, and then we're going to have this session at 10. We'll be here at lunch at 12 noon. You do not want to miss the 2 o'clock program because our youth are hosting instead of me. That gets me the most excited about today. And then we'll be on at 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock to bring you all the information and resources you need to vote. And we have a great lineup for the day. Earlier today, you're going to see a message, the interview I did with our county executive, Dave Crowley, and the president of the Common Council, Jose Perez. And we also had Eloisa Gomez, the chairperson for the League of Women Voters, Voto-Latino. And later on in this program, we're going to bring on Peggy Creer, who's the chairperson or the president of the League of Women Voters of Milwaukee County. And so we're super glad that you're with us. And I want to give a shout out to our team. You need to know they're all 100, really 1,000 in it with you all. And so I want to thank Stacy for producing, and our former staff. Jinx is back with us. Hey, Jinx, all the way from Chicago, our sister city, doing backup production. And then Jeanette and Stacy tag team this vote-a-thon, did an incredible job. And Jeanette is on comments. And also she's overseeing the shadowing and training that's happening with our youth to learn all the aspects of this forum. We want to thank Tony for taking care of feeding us and ensuring we have the simultaneous interpretation happening today. And Anita for handling the phones while the rest of us have vote-a-thon duties. And we're so proud of Wilma, who's working at one of the polls, our other staffer. So it takes a whole village, folks, to pull one of these off. And I'm super grateful for the whole team. So let's give them a shout out. How about if we get some of y'all in the comments to say a hello? We can see how many people are here, but we can't see who's with us unless you leave us a comment. So we'd be really excited to say hello and to know who is with us. Let me tell you a little bit about SOC in case you're not familiar with us. And always when I share about SOC, people always find something out that they didn't know. So I love to talk about this organization. It's our 33rd birthday this year, folks. SOC was established in 1990 by a group of neighbors like you all who came together and wanted to make sure that their neighborhoods in the South Side were thriving and safe, etc. And so we, for the most part, have had the same mission, which is to ensure that neighbors like yourself have a safe, economically vibrant community, and that you have a voice and a vote and a vehicle to organize. And so if you ever need to get a hold of us, and we're here for you, you can call us at 414-672-8090. 414-672-8090. Now, this is why you're going to want to stay with us in addition to all the information we're sharing today. We have several door prizes, $50 gift cards for those of you who engage with us today. you can get an entry every time you do one of these things. So lots of opportunities. There are four $50 gift cards for a total of $200 in gift cards to be given out today. If you share this Facebook Live, you're going to be entered into that drawing. If you fill out our post-pandemic survey, so we had to face a lot of critical decisions and choices and lack of choices during the pandemic. And SOC wants to know, where should we focus our energy and resources these next couple of years? And we're going to do whatever you tell us to do. And so we want you to identify what those critical priorities are. So please fill out our post-pandemic survey. All of the surveys are 5 minutes or less to do. So if you fill that out, you'll get entered into the drawing. The other simple lift that you can do to be entered into the drawing and really get involved with us and in the community is agree to be your block's ambassador. It's a really simple ask. You agree to share information with your block regarding what info and resources and activities are happening with SOC. Maybe that's once or twice a month, flyering your block. We want one adult and one youth on each block. And there are a lot of benefits that come with that besides helping our community be stronger and safer. You get discounted or free admission into all kinds of SOC's activities, our Leadership Institute, our conference, our retro ball, our summits. And then the last survey would be at the end of the program. Let us know what we shared that was helpful and what we could do differently. And then you can also enter, if you like, our Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. All of the things I'm sharing with you here are in the comments for you to take advantage. It's literally a click away. And then last, if you voted or you went with someone who voted, and take a picture, post it, and tag us, you'll be entered. So all kinds of ways. Every time you do one of these things, you'll be entered into a drawing. The drawing will take place tomorrow live, and then we'll get you your gift cards. All right, let's see who's with us so I can say some hellos before I move on. Wilma, hola, Wilma. We're so proud of you and grateful that you're working on the elections at a poll site. You can also use the hashtag the South Side votes, La Zona Sur Vota. That'll get to us as well. All right. We have a guest with us today that we're going to be bringing on shortly. And right now, what I'd like to do is give a shout out to our near South Side civic engagement team. Excuse me. We have a group of folks, all kinds of organizations that really care about you and democracy and helping you get out to vote. And so SOC founded and leads this group of organizations, including shout out to the Latino Chamber of Commerce of Southeastern Wisconsin. They've been a strategic partner with us for a long time. The League of Women Voters, and that's our guest now. We had our guest at 8 o'clock. The Milwaukee LGBT Community Center, shout out Kevin and your folks over there. Milwaukee Turners, I've shared with people that's my new love interest. The Milwaukee Turners fell in love with their mission and their building. Voces de la Frontera and Vote Riders. So shout out to all our partners. All right, we're going to go ahead and bring on our guest, Peggy Creer, the president of the League of Women Voters of Milwaukee County. Buenos dias, Peggy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being with us again. You guys have been incredible partners. I really appreciate it.
And we appreciate the work you do as well.
Yeah, there's enough work for all of us to do, and it's necessary for us to do it in a united way. Eloisa says, thanks to all today's speakers. Hola, Eloisa. She was with us earlier. Happy that you were with us and happy that you're back with us. Peggy, we want to accomplish two things today. We want to get people motivated, those people who maybe have lost a little hope or are totally stressed for time or don't understand voting, to really get out on this critical election. And then we want to thank you, Anita, for getting me water. I appreciate it. And then any other message you think people really need to hear today. So share your thoughts, share your heart with the folks.
Okay, thank you. I have lots of thoughts on this. For anybody who thinks this election isn't important, you should take a look at some national media headlines over the past week or so. I see one from National Public Radio. In a Supreme Court race like no other, Wisconsin's political future is up for grabs. I think that's pretty motivating. I see another one, a key fight over democracy is currently taking place in Wisconsin. There is so much at stake here. I mean, with our Supreme Court race is huge. This is a 10-year seat with no term limits. And the Supreme Court is going to be hearing some very important cases. They're likely to hear cases about abortion rights. You certainly hear a lot about that. Voting and election laws will come before the Supreme Court, very likely. We are a very gerrymandered state. Our maps are quite skewed, and those will likely come before the Supreme Court. Judicial recusal rules, things like marijuana legalization could come before this court. Education policy, labor laws, a lot of very important issues. And the ideological balance of the court is what's in play with this election, and that's why it's getting so much national attention. This is the most expensive state Supreme Court race in our nation's history. I haven't heard the latest total, but I know it's over $40 million has been spent. So for people out there who are wondering if their vote matters, think of all the money that is being spent with the goal of swaying your one vote. That's the whole point of the ads. But let me say, I wouldn't pay very much attention to the content of the ads. It's not illegal to lie in those. So you need to do a little bit of research. I know you have to be in a hurry if you have not made up your mind now, but the difference between candidates is stark. So talk to friends who follow politics. Look at organizations you trust. See what they're saying about this race. Go to vote411.org and do a little research. Doesn't take long. And with the weather we're expecting today, the sooner you head out, the better, probably.
Correct. That's all critical information. And, the Supreme Court race, people really need to take heart of, we're going to be locked in for a whole decade. That it's probably one of the highest stake races we've seen in a while. So thank you for sharing that information. Is there anything else you want to bring to people's attention today, Peggy, before we have you go on to the rest of your day?
And the rest of my day, by the way, is heading over near you. I'll be at a polling place on the south side starting at 1:30. There's one thing that I noticed when I talk to people about voting, something they find surprising. We had a primary election in February, and that determined which candidates went on to this election today. And the turnout for that primary election was 20.5% of the voting age population in Wisconsin. And that was considered kind of high. That's not very good. 4 out of 5 potential voters stayed home. Today, we could break a record and still have more than half of the people who could vote not vote. So I'm pleading with people to please engage your friends and relatives and neighbors and encourage them to get to the polls with you today. If you're in line at 8 o'clock when the polls close, you can still vote. So you've got time.
Thank you, Peggy. We appreciate your partnership and you being with us today. Have a great day.
Thank you, Tammy. You too.
What we'd like to do now is share our previous hello from our county exec, Dave Crowley.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited, hoping we're going to have a great turnout for this election. And gracias, because I think this is your first visit.
This is. I appreciate it.
Glad. And we were just together because you invited a group of us women for Women's History Month to have a chat with you at Alverno. And so I'm grateful for that opportunity as well.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, but everyone who joined us during that coffee time to really have conversations about how we can move this community forward, particularly around entrepreneurship. It was really vibrant, and you definitely gave me some things to walk away with and do.
Yeah, we'll dig in on those things. All right, so we're hoping you could join us to just share your heart with folks, to maybe the people who have lost a little hope, or who are feeling stressed and pressed for time, that you give them some encouragement and inspiration to vote today?
Oh, absolutely. First and foremost, I was born and raised here in Milwaukee, so I'm a lifelong Milwaukeean, and I'm proud of where I come from, and I'm proud that I've been on this path to actually make some change in this community, because we need to make sure this is a better place for everyone. And when you think about today, this is a very special day because it is election day. And so if you care about your community, if you care about how government serves you, if you care about your family and your loved ones, and if we care about the greater future of your community, today you have to make sure that your voice is heard. And so every day that we think about election day, we have to make sure that you let your voice count. And so it's extremely important that you make a plan, that you go out and vote today. We got elections that are statewide. We have elections that are happening here locally. Many elections that can make a great impact on all of our lives throughout the entire state. So it's extremely important that you take the time to cast your vote and make sure that your voice is heard. And I just have to say, Tammy, thank you not only to you, but to the Southside Organizing Center for all the work that y'all all consistently do in organizing our communities, but more importantly, making sure that folks understand how you can utilize their voices to make change in our own community.
Great. We thank you for that. Folks are needing encouragement, but also they want to be rewarded for participating in our democracy. Is there anything else you want to share with people from the county level before we let you get the rest of your day going?
Well, absolutely. Again, I want to make sure everybody gets out to vote, but I do want to, encourage people to visit our website, moveforwardmke.com. We at Milwaukee County and the city of Milwaukee, we have been embarking on an endeavor to increase the amount of resources so we can better serve the entire community, like the folks who are watching us right now on live. And so it's extremely important that people understand what we're trying to do, because if we want to make sure our county buses are here, that our county parks are still here, that our senior services, our youth services, and services for people with disabilities, we need to make sure that we have the revenues and the tools necessary. So I want to encourage everyone to visit moveforwardmke.com. And I also want folks to stay tuned for a lot of the summer events that's going to be taking place. Last year, we had our inaugural Healthy County Challenge, and I'm looking forward to bringing it to a park near you in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned.
All right. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. Appreciate.
Thank you again to County Exec David Crowley for being with us this morning. And we want to say hello to Maria Maru Gutierrez. Thank you for being with us. She says, let your voice be heard. All right. We're going to share our previous time with President of the Common Council, Jose Perez.
Buenos dias. Good morning.
Buenos dias. We're so glad you're with us today.
I am too. It's a great start to the day. Excited about everyone getting out to vote today. We know how important it is. Elections matter. Voting matters. I want to thank you for not only the opportunity to be here, but for hosting this Get Out the Vote, this call of action that people can tune into and hopefully get questions answered and get motivated, not only to go out and vote today, but to go talk to someone else and get them to the polls today. So we're super excited about today. We know there's a lot riding in our community, and I'm excited because every election, I think more and more people turn out on the near South Side. We know how important Latinos have been to the city, to the population. We're the fastest growing demographic, and we wish more people would turn out, and we're hoping that every election we get better at it and we turn more people out.
We agree, especially because Sox district is 70% Latino IX. And we have the largest amount of non-English speaking people in the state in this area, which is primarily Spanish. What do you have to share with us that you want folks to hear about at the Common Council level, at the city level?
Well, we're very close in working with the state. We've been spending a lot of time with them to increase opportunities for funding. We can't raise taxes. We can't increase our revenue. It's been flat for so many years. And we think that we're on the right path, and talking and communicating with them. And I know that they're going to provide alternative resources and revenues for us so that we can make sure that, we can deal with public safety, and that we can really compensate our employees so that we can retain and keep them, because we have such a shortage of people working at the city. So other municipalities are paying better. It's a very competitive market, and we want our services to be up to par for the community, and it's hard to compete with that. So we're excited that moving forward in this spring, we can get to that place where we can give more to the community. It's not a perfect system, and we need everyone to pitch in and help us.
Great. We have a message here. Let's see. Claudia says, I love your art, Alderman Perez. That's on your wall.
That's actually from 1970.
Is it really?
Yeah. So.
Wow. All right. We thank you for squeezing us in. We know it's a very, very tight day. And have a safe and good rest of your day.
I just want to say thank you again, and hopefully I'll see some of you out. I take the day to kind of go from polling site to polling site, just check in, making sure people get the resources they need, whether it's translation, interpretation, just answering questions in Spanish and English, and making sure that people are feeling comfortable going to the voting polls. So I'll spend most of my day jumping around and hope to see you there. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Have a good. Thank you, President of the Common Council, Jose Perez, for being with us today. What I'd like to do now is lift up a special election that's happening for those of you who live in District 14. The county supervisor, the former county supervisor, Django Serpa, who was in District 14, stepped down, which left a vacancy. The county exec, Crowley, who was with us earlier, issued a special order for a special election. And so today, there are 3 candidates. Today, those of you who live in District 14 are going to vote which of those 2 candidates move forward. And then the 2 that go forward, you're going to be able to vote May 2nd, Tuesday, May 2nd, on which one of those 2 you want to represent you as your county supervisor. And here are all the resources that we have for today's vote and for that May 2nd final vote. We did a candidates forum with those 3 candidates who are Travis Hope, Caroline Gomez-Tom, and Angel Sanchez. And we're going to share a link in the comments where you can go to that live forum that we had and hear them answer the questions that the neighbors from that district asked. So you really want to take a look at that. There's other information there too, but specifically that. And then something brand new that y'all haven't seen unless you saw Facebook after 10/11 last night when I posted it, is the coalition that I gave the shout out to, the Near South Side Civic Coalition that we founded and lead. We got to ask one question from each of the organizations to the candidates, and they answered those questions. And I posted those on our Facebook, the questions and the answers in English and in Spanish, and we'll have a link to the candidates' answers to those questions too, which will really help you decide if you haven't already. And then I want to point out that the census directs a couple of things. That's why it's important to participate in it. One is what voting districts are created as a result of the census. And we did see a change in maps. And one of those changes was this new, the new boundaries for District 14, the same election I'm talking about. And so we're going to post a link to that map so you can see if you're a neighbor who lives in that area, because that's a special election you don't want to miss. The boundaries, it's hard to describe because they're not square or rectangular, easy to describe. But the farthest north street is Florida Street. If you're not familiar with that, that's just north of Pierce Street. The furthest south, I believe, is Howard. On the west, it's 20th Street, and then it dips into 16th and then keeps dipping to lower number streets. And on the east, it's about First Street. But to be sure, look at that map if you live in there. And then finally, if you're not really familiar with what the county supervisors do, you can see the flyer we created for that event on our Facebook, which has some highlights. But you can also go to the county supervisors page, and we're sharing that in the link as well. So those of you in District 14, please make sure to come out to vote today, because you're going to determine which 2 candidates go forward to Tuesday, May 2nd for the final special election. And then the other race, which I'm not going to talk a lot about because Peggy did such a great job, but I do want to bring to your attention, if you're not familiar with the two candidates for the Supreme Court race, we're going to share a link of a debate that was hosted by the State Bar of Wisconsin, WISC TV, and WIS Politics. So you can hear them firsthand and where they stand. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen so that I can show you where the one-stop hub is for all your voting needs. It's myvote.wisconsin.gov, and you can access it in English or in Spanish. I'm going to show you all that it offers, and then I'm going to dig into a couple of areas so that you're a little familiar with using it. So here I go. I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to trust you can see it and that my staff will let me know if you can't. So here you're going to go to myvotewisconsin.gov, myvote.wisconsin.gov. This is the English version. And here, as you can see your voter information. So it'll tell you when you voted. It doesn't say what you voted. So it's not going to disclose who you voted for or what, but it tells you when you voted. So you can keep track of the elections you participated in. And then you can find your polling place. Some of you who your district boundaries changed, you can find that here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. What's on the ballot, so you're not surprised when you get there. You can update all your contact information. If you haven't registered to vote, you can register today. You just have to take IDs, and we'll talk about that a little later. And then for the next election, you can vote absentee by mail. And when you vote, you can track your ballot, and you can vote absentee in person. That means handing it in. And so what we're going to do is show you the rest of the page. Again, here are some quick views of the same information I just shared. A little more information about absentee voting. And then, hey, if you want to work at one of the polling sites, which Wilma is at, one of our staffers, get election results, check what the deadlines and timelines are, and how they process the voting each season. And for those of you who are veterans, getting special information. So I'm going to dig into two parts of this polling place. One is, where's my voting place? So if I'm going to vote today and I'm not sure if my district boundaries change or I moved, etc., you can pop in an address, and for the sake of privacy, I am going to put in our SOC office. And we're not quite open to the public yet. We're almost ready to, but you can contact us in the same ways you always have. On the phone at 414-672-8090, via email, soc@socmilwaukee.org, and in the community, because that's where we spend most of our time. So here I go. I'm going to put in SOC's address, and it's going to tell me that my voting place, if I would live here, would be here at Durfler School. Some voting places are in pavilions, some are in schools, some are in other places. It gives me the address. Voting today is from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. I voted right at 7 a.m. and was the #1 voter in my ward. Ward 215, as you can see there. And it even show you a map of where it's going to be. And then I think the next big thing you need to be familiar with is, what's my ballot going to look like? Because sometimes you get there and it could be a little confusing or overwhelming. So we're going to take a peek at, if I lived here, what would be on my ballot. Now, depending on where you live, some of these elections are a little different. But of course, as we talked about at length today, the Justice of the Supreme Court, you have to vote for one of those or write one in. And then we have a Court of Appeals judge for District 1. And we have several county circuit court judges, branch 4, 9, 10, 13, 18, 21. And then we have a couple of circuit court judges, branch 33, 35, 47. And we have 2 municipal judge races, branch 2 and branch 3. And then there's a MPS school board election for a member at large. And then there are referendums. Referendums are our way of sharing with elected officials at the state what's important to us in terms of issues. And so there's a couple important ones here. One has to do with conditions of release before someone is convicted. And then that one there would change the Constitution, amend it to allow for the court to impose an accused person, not a convicted person, but someone accused of doing something, restrictions before being released. And so that's an important sort of philosophical, rights question. The second one, they want to know our opinion about cash bail before someone is convicted again. And so, again, this would be a constitutional amendment. Constitutional amendments are big deals because they have to do with our core rights, right? So be mindful of that. Should we allow the court to impose cash bail on a person accused of a violent crime? And then they want to base that on the total circumstances, previous convictions, the probability, they're guessing on whether the person appears back in court, and the need to protect the community and the witness. And so again, that's an opinion you're going to have to give. And then the other one is, should adults who do not have children be required to look for work in order to receive welfare benefits? And then last, which has been a critical issue across the nation, which is, should the statute which bans abortion at any stage of pregnancy without exception for rape or incest or the health of the patient be repealed to allow for legal access to abortion care? So those are the things that I think it's important for you all to know is at stake, and that what a ballot looks like if it's your first time. Let me see if we have any folks who have said hello. Again, if you're with us, I can see a number of people are with us. Please say hello so we know who you are and we can say hello back. We're hoping you're with us and you're going to say hello and even share a picture of you voting or that you went with someone to vote. I want to remind you of the door prizes we have for you all today. If you engage with us, if you share this Facebook page, if you share, if you like us on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, if you take a photo of yourself, or if you can't vote or voted early with whoever else you're encouraging to go to the polls and vote, and post it and tag us, you'll be entered into our drawings. And then there are 3 links that we're going to share here of surveys you can take. One is a post-pandemic survey to ask you what your priorities are so we know what to work on in the next couple of years. One for you to sign up to be an ambassador, really simple, agree to share information maybe once, twice a month with the people on your block, which is usually like a flyer, or like we've been giving out public health kits, other goodies like that, to get people involved and informed. And then just to tell us what you appreciate about these forums and what we could be doing different. Right now, we're going to share a couple of videos. We have our chair of county supervisors, Marcelia Nicholson, who shared a promo about the District 14 Candidates Forum, which I talked about earlier.
Hi, I'm County Board Chairwoman Marcelia Nicholson. And as the first Afro-Latina to lead the county board, I know firsthand just how important the job of a county supervisor is to Latino and Hispanic communities. Supervisors are responsible for adopting a $1.2 billion budget every year, and we set policy for quality of life services such as parks and transit. This is why I appreciate the Southside Organizing Center for hosting a forum for residents to get to know the candidates seeking to represent the 14th Supervisory District. This district is in the heart of Milwaukee's South Side and includes landmarks like the Kazi Community Center and Basilica of St. Josephat. It is so important that the residents of District 14 make their voices heard in this important election.
Folks, we thank the chairwoman of the county supervisors for being faithful for our efforts to get you informed. I'm constantly getting messages on the text message, so I'll be back and forth with that. Do we have any other videos we're going to share, team? I know we were working on a couple, and let me know in the private chat, and I can introduce them. And I got to remember to talk slower, you all. I'm always in my Puerto Rican fast mode, and it makes it hard for the interpreters. We have a video from the Latino Chamber of Commerce that's encouraging you all to vote. Brandy with us now.
Hi everyone, my name is Brandy Hernandez and I am the engagement manager at the Latino Chamber of Commerce of Southeastern Wisconsin. Just wanted to hop on super quick and one, happy election day. Two, wanted to encourage you all to get out and vote. Voting is one of many ways that you can make your voice heard here in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin and all across the country. But yeah, on behalf of the Latino Chamber of Commerce, we just wanted to encourage you all to get out and vote, make your voice heard. If you have any questions on where your polling place is, you can always visit myvote.wi.gov, and that shows directly where you go and vote and what you need to take. Yeah, happy election day.
Gracias, Brandy and the Latino Chamber of Commerce for being such great partners with us. That's all we have for you for our 10 o'clock program. Please come back at 12 noon so that you can visit with our next guest, Silvia Ortiz Velez, State Representative, District 8. And then you don't want to miss the 2 o'clock program because our youth are going to be hosting that, and we'll be back with you at 4 and 6 as well. Thank you and see you soon.